What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. So in an interview today with Coach Prime and Undisputed, he may have slipped up a little bit, all right, where he kind of lets on to let us to believe that the defensive line coach has been hired. I'll show you the clip here. He does state that, look, we should be announcing this maybe later today, maybe in a few days, and then later on in the interview, you can kind of see him stringing you along, and he goes, wait a minute, I can't say that. We'll play the clip. We'll talk all about it. Then we'll talk about the linebacker room. He addresses that. I'm talking about it hitting the portal for some more talent there. Then, of course, the question that everybody is asking, that everybody wants to know, can Colorado make the big dance? The Final 12, March Madness. We'll call it December Madness. Whatever you want to do, we got to find a good name for it. Before we do any of that, roll the damn intro. I flushed my juice down in the club. That's my jam. That's my jam. All right, let's take a listen to these two clips here for just a quick second. Again, him speaking to hiring the defensive line, and then the clip of him kind of leading us on here. Take a listen.
We're probably going to hire a defensive coordinator within the next 2 days, maybe today, maybe even today, but in the next 2 days, because we had to allow those pro guys to get all those interviews out now. We identified a few of them because I want a pro guy that it can teach and instruct at another level. That's what we have on the offense. That's what we pretty much have on the whole darn staff, is guys that have taught and played the pro game, because that's where these guys are headed.
So, interesting to think about. Let's go back to what happened this past weekend. We had Detroit Lions play. They're now no longer in the playoffs, and alongside the Baltimore Ravens, two teams that had a hell of a year. And again, I'm just assuming those teams probably have the talent that is coming in. So take a look at those two teams, see what's out there, and that is my guess. I could be completely wrong. It could be a team that's already played, but you're waiting for these guys to make a call. And in this clip here, he kind of alludes like, we're going to hire, meaning basically sign. We already have our guy. We just need to confirm it today. Hopefully they can lock it in here. I don't think it's going to be from the two teams headed to the Super Bowl, so that leads me to believe it's probably from the Lions or the Ravens. I could be wrong, but again, just how he spoke there leads me to believe that it could be from one of those two teams, which the offensive coordinator for the Lions was just trying to get poached, and he already stated, I'm running this thing back. I'm going for another year. When you got teams like that have major success, all those coaches on that team are going to be looked at and be looking to be poached. So that's just something to keep in mind. But take a listen to his clip here.
Level. I mean, you're going to see Coach Sherman, what he's doing with the offense is going to be pro-minded, and he's really good at what he does, as well as our defensive guy. Our defensive staff is intact right now, and we I can't. So I almost slipped. I almost said something I couldn't say.
He said Pat Schumer, and then he was going to say, and Coach, my defensive coaches. So look, hey, it's locked in. And then he would say we got our defensive guys. I mean, that thing is basically damn near ready to rock and roll and dial it up. So again, let me know in the comments, do we believe that it will be from one of those two teams? Again, he has been adamant that it's going to be a professional coach coming in. So obviously, we've got it down to only a couple of teams here, right? Just anybody that's in the NFL right now. But him talking about the playoffs leads me to believe it was one of these teams that had to be making a late run there. So take a look at those teams. Figure it out. Let us know. Let's take a look at the linebacker room. He did address this as well. Said, look, he goes, I love the offensive line. We have a complete overhaul there. There's going to be a lot of a complete new look there. The defensive line as well, which we just talked about big time edge rusher they got in BJ Green just the other day. So we know that is a complete overhaul, and that defensive line looks phenomenal. He spoke to the secondary. He's like, look, the secondary is great. They did a lot of great things last year. The linebacker room still needs a lot of work. These are the guys that are on staff currently. Nikhil Webb-Walker obviously was a transfer this year, alongside Jalen Wester as well. So we'll see. He says, look, we plan to go out there and get some more. Obviously, the window has closed. People are still in the portal, but I'm assuming he's probably going to look more towards that May window on who he's able to bring in, because they've got a handful, but probably not guys they want to look. If you go look at PFF grades, those linebacker scores were extremely low last year, even some of their starters. So that room could definitely take a lot of look. But again, secondary-wise, cornerback, safety-wise, is extremely healthy, and they brought in some talent for that room as well. So keep your eyes on that. But next order of business, can they make the dance? Can they make December Madness? I'll have to find a fun name for it. Their schedule was released today in the order, and so we got to talk all about it. Look, this schedule, when I look at it, when you go game by game, compared to last year I felt like, hey, they're going to get off to a hot start, be 3-4-0. Exactly what they did. Then I said when they hit that Oregon, USC, that's going to be the bump. That's going to be like, hey, are they where they need to be, or is you're going to get your answer pretty quickly, which again we did. So this one here is wide open for the taking. It's going to be one of those things like if Colorado comes out there and is the Colorado that I believe they can run through this schedule. There is going to be some tough games, though, regardless. I think Nebraska is going to make a leap, and it's going to be at Nebraska. That's one hell of a stadium to play at. They are nuts there. North Dakota State, and Coach Prime's interview was, hey, don't sleep on them. They are, I think they won in 2015, 17, 18, 19, and 21 Division I FCS national champions. They are no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. That team could probably beat a handful of these teams on this schedule. So it may seem like it's just a kind of a walk-in cake. That's going to be a damn dogfight. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be an interesting one. The Nebraska one, a personal one as always. Colorado State goes, I wish we could start with that one. So already taking a little bit of a jab to the state. I love that. It's going to be at Colorado State, which that one's going to be spicy as well, going back to last year. Baylor finishing 2-7 last year, losing their quarterback. I think that should be an absolute steamroll in Colorado. Should be a no-brainer there. UCF, thought they're going to have a much better season last year. They had a hell of a recruiting class for UCF standards last year, so that's going to be an interesting one, but I think it's a young team. I think you can go into UCF and handle business. Colorado was positioned to beat this team. Kansas State, hell of a season last year. They did lose their quarterback and Will Howard in the transfer portal, so going to be a little bit shake up there, but that's a well-coached team. That's a great team. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be, to me, you could very easily be undefeated headed into that game, and that game is going to be, in my opinion, your first real true test. Again, some of these teams could throw some surprises at me. Don't get it twisted, but that one I would have circled of like, hey, that's a real legitimate going to be a big time game. Arizona, although they had a hell of a year last year going 10-3, 11-3 with Jed Fish, he left and so damn near everybody, okay? The moment he left, they had 8 guys in the transfer portal about 7.5 minutes, okay? Everybody is gone. Arizona should be able to, you walk in, you walk out. No brainer here, okay? Cincinnati, same thing. They are depleted. I think they won 1 game last year, okay? Should be a no problem there. Texas Tech, They had a hell of a year. Great year, so they're kind of on the up and up. That's going to be a good game as well at Texas Tech. Should be an interesting one in Texas. Then Utah at home. Utah is in a weird state. They've been dominant for the last couple of years. Took a little bit of a step backwards last year, and I think they're going to be humbled a little bit going into this next season. They're not the Utah of old, but I'm pretty sure Cam Rising is coming back, I believe. So if that is the case, they're still going to be a legitimate threat. It was a close game this past year. I think Colorado pulls the edge out here. Kansas, another big game here at Kansas, going to be a dogfight alongside Oklahoma State, who did play in the Big 12 championship last year. But none of these teams give me that Oregon feeling or that USC, which ended up being a very close game. None of those teams give me that to where they should go in there and just run away with it. I believe genuinely that Colorado has an opportunity to win every single one of these games pretty well handedly, if they're able to, with these new additions, hit the ground running, which I believe they will. So can they make the big dance? I think they have to win the Big 12. I think the way the Big 12 is going to shake up, they got to make the Big 12 championship, which I think is very doable with what the teams are in there. And yeah, you win that Big 12 championship, you're an automatic lock. If you don't win the Big 12, that's where things kind of leave that door open a little bit. The 6 conference championships, the 5 conference championships, you get an automatic bid into that. So I don't know how the schedule will hold up if they don't win out, if they don't win the Big 12, if that makes sense. So they need to focus on winning the Big 12. That's the only focus. How do you stay in those top 2 spots, and how do you make it to that game? The rest of it doesn't matter, because I don't think the strength of schedule will bring them into the top 12 unless they're undefeated going into the Big 12 championship and they lose that game and whoever they play. So it's finicky, but thankfully all they got to worry about is what's in front of them, right? For the last couple of years, only being Final Four teams, there's a lot of outside noise that's happening. Now you don't have to worry about that. And that's also which speaks to our next thing we're going to go over is they asked them again, hey, did you get a lot of phone calls this past December on possibly leaving, right? Do you think you would go elsewhere? He's like, yeah, I got a couple about leaving, but he's like, I love it here. Obviously, they're talking about Shador buying him a mansion on there as well. He's like, look, we went house shopping for a reason. He's like, I love it here. And I've talked about this on the show before. The landscape of college football is changing. Nobody wants to just keep hopping around. And now that there's 12 spots open, like I just said, take a look at that schedule. Take a look at what lies ahead of you. You can make the big dance and be in front of everybody by controlling what's in front of you. That's never been the case before, ever. Right? Texas just won the Big 12 championship last year. They were wondering if they were going to get into the Final Four or not. That is no longer going to be a question. So why do I need to keep chasing something what it seems to be bigger or better. No, let's dominate right here. Let's make this happen. I love it here. They love me here. That's what he kept saying. So I think Colorado and Coach Prime is going to be a marriage for a very, very long time. I think that's the one great thing I think about college football is headed, that coaches are going to seem that, hey, there's no need for us to keep hopping around. I can get it done right here and have an opportunity to play in the dance. And once we're proven that, we'll be able to accrue. We'll be able to be more impactful in the NIL, and all those things will start working in the right direction. But hell of a day for some college football and Colorado football. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comments, who do you guys think that D-line coach is? Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions. Give me who you want to come in and coach alongside Pat Schumer and Coach Prime. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure, again, subscribe on the way to 9,000. I'll see you. Peace.